potentially job-killing trade agreements with Colombia, Panama, and South Korea. He also, his campaign promises to roll back NAFTA haven't really occurred, and the White House basically remained silent on the sidelines during the attempted recall of Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker. I wonder, is there any reason to believe that if Obama is reelected that his administration will be any different?
Well, first of all, I don't agree with your premises, and we've disagreed on policy, that's true, but he's done a tremendous amount for working people. He saved the auto industry, and people are getting hired right now because of that. He's put a National Labor Relations Board together that is actually functioning and enforcing the law on workers' behalf. He's done great things in health and safety. Thanks, Joe. In health and safety, to protect workers' health and safety. He has created jobs. Remember, George Bush is the only president after 8 years who had fewer jobs when he left office than when he came into office. This president, in the worst of times, has been able to create several million jobs in the worst recession we've seen since the Great Depression. He's been a real friend to working people. And while we disagree on policy from time to time, there's no question he's a friend of workers.
It's a battle. I mean, these trade agreements don't help. I oppose them, as you said. This president, though, for the first time, we've seen a president in a long time, a president actually worked to enforce these trade rules. That makes a difference. But I mean, Obama needs to be more aggressive on enforcement of trade rules, and we need to, what the NLRB can do and what we can do better to level the playing field in union organizing. I think those are the two keys.
He's also talked about everything is on the table in terms of raising the retirement age for Social Security. He set up the Simpson-Bowles Commission, which recommended entitlement cuts. What is to stop him from, if he's reelected, from the so-called grand bargain with Republicans?
Well, I don't think the president. I stand strongly, and I think the president does. I know I do, and I think the president does against raising the retirement age, because I know the number of people that work in manufacturing, that work in construction, that wait tables, that cut hair, that work in hotels, that work retail, that simply can't work until they're 70. And I will oppose that. I assume the president will too. I believe he will. I think there are compromises we can make to move towards a balanced budget, but I take a backseat to nobody on balancing the budget. We did it in the 1990s. We had the biggest budget surplus in American history, and it was decisions that the former administration made. 2 wars without paying for them, a giveaway to the drug companies, the insurance companies with Medicare privatization, and tax cuts for the rich. None of them paid for that hole in the budget. So we know how to get back to where we need to go, and we've got to focus on doing it. And you can do it without going after Medicare and Social Security.
By raising it to 39%, the marginal tax rate?
Well, no, I absolutely. I think we should let the Bush tax cuts expire for upper income people. We need to, with real tax reform, no more kind of giveaway to the hedge fund operators who have this outrageously low tax rate. With a number of things we can do: stop jobs, stop outsource the tax breaks to outsource jobs. Closing all those loopholes will make a difference.
Why it matters that we did the auto rescue 3 years ago, why it matters that President Obama's enforcing trade rules more aggressively than any president in the last 25 years. That's why we have several hundred new jobs at the steel plant in Lorain, because we enforce trade laws against the Chinese. That's what's so important. And you know what the auto rescue meant. You know how important the auto rescue was in this state. 800,000 jobs were at risk. 800,000 jobs in this state were connected to the auto rescue. And you know what that meant. You know what it means with the Chevy Cruze built in Youngstown. The engine is made in Defiance. The transmission comes from Toledo. The brackets come from Brunswick. The stamping comes from Parma. The steel comes from Cleveland. The aluminum comes from Cleveland. The sound system comes from Springboro. And 5,000 workers in Lorain put that car together.
But my father's union job, with his union wages and his union health care, made sure that I stayed alive after I was diagnosed with very serious asthma, rushed by ambulance several times in my teenage years, almost died twice. But we had the kind of health care in that union contract that made it possible for me to get life-saving treatment at the Cleveland Clinic when I was still a teenager. And because of my father's union wages and my mother's hourly wages as a non-union worker, at Ashtabula General Hospital as a nurse's aide. My parents were able to send me to college. I was the first in my family to go. And because of federal loans, low interest student loans, and grants, I was able to graduate from Kent State University with less than $2,000 in debt.
You see, America has never needed our unity more than it does today. Brothers and sisters, on this Labor Day, let's resolve to put America's working people back on top. Because when we stand together united, arm in arm, the numbers are on our side. When we stand united, we can't be defeated. We're building a movement, an honest-to-God working-class movement, and by God, we'll work for it, we'll stand for it together, and all of us to bring out the best in America, to bring out the best in ourselves, to bring out the best in each other, because, my friends, we are one. We're united, we're moving America forward, and we won't back down and we won't back up, and we're never going back to the 1930s where they want to send it to us. This is our country. We build it, we defend it, we wake it up, we fix it, we put it to bed each night, and it is ours to take back. God bless you. Happy Labor Day.